Hello dear students. If I ask you one question, which is the most beautiful and attractive part of a plant? What will be your answer? Yes, I know your answer would be a flower. So today we are going to study about this amazing part of the plant called as the flower. First, I will show you some flowers of my garden, and I am sure you will know their name. You will recognize them and tell me their name. This one, everybody knows. It's a rose flower. It's a rose flower. Then, this one. This is hibiscus. It is China rose. Then you all know this flower. This is jasmine. Likewise, this is called as Tecoma, trumpet vine. This flower is called hollyhock, and this is called as Mexican petunia. They are very beautiful, isn't it? Now I will show you some flowers which you consider them as flowers, but they are not flowers. So, first of all, this one, this is a sunflower, but it's not a flower. Then what is it? You guessed it right. It is an inflorescence. Likewise, this one. This is called zinnia. Again, this is not a flower. It is also an inflorescence. Now I will show you this one. This is bougainvillea. These colorful parts in bougainvillea, you will be surprised to know they are not flowers. Then what are they? They are bracts. These are colorful bracts which give the appearance of a flower. But there are flowers. You can see these white small parts. These are flowers. So flowers are so amazing. So plant tries to make the flower very attractive. Why? Because there is some reason. We will study about it. So today we will study flower from a botanist point of view. We use in our day-to-day life flower for commercial purpose, for showing our affection, for so many other reasons we use flowers. But today we will be studying the morphology of flower, and we will know the various parts of the flower. So let's begin with the characteristic feature of a flower. So in terms of morphology, flower is a modified shoot. So the first point is flower is a modified shoot. Why do we call it as a modified shoot? Because flower, just like a shoot, this is a shoot which has got nodes and internodes. And at each nodes you can see there are leaves. It's a normal shoot. Likewise, in case of flower also, it's a condensed shoot and it has got nodes and internodes. I have drawn a typical structure of a normal flower. You all have studied the various parts of the flowers in class 10th. So, this flower is a modified shoot where the shoot is condensed and it has got nodes and internodes. And at each node there are leaves, but these leaves are modified in the whorls, and there are generally 4 whorls in a flower. You can see here there is a base of the flower which is called as thalamus. On this thalamus there are 4 whorls, and these 4 whorls are in a sequence. The first whorl is called sepals. Whorl of sepals called as calyx. So this green colored part, you can see this green colored part, this is called as calyx. This one. What is its role? It basically protects the flower in the bud condition when the flower is immature. Then next whorl is the most colorful part of the flower, which gives it a characteristic feature. So these colorful parts, which are called as petals, and commonly this whorl is called corolla. So second whorl is corolla. Then third whorl is the whorl of stamens, male reproductive part, and together these stamens form the whorl known as androecium. And the last whorl is the whorl of pistils in the center, pistils or carpels, and together they form the gynoecium. So flower is nothing but a modified shoot with the whorls of floral appendages. I have already told you the whorls of floral appendages. So these are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. We will study about them in more detail when we will take up the individual part. Okay. Now, every flower shows a symmetry. This symmetry can be of different types. We will study later on. It may be asymmetrical, or it may be bilaterally symmetrical, or radially symmetrical. We will study about the terms in detail. Then the flowers may be bisexual or unisexual. Bisexual means both the stamens and pistil are present in the same flower. Whereas there may be some flowers which may be just unisexual. Unisexual means they will have only either stamen, or that is male flower, or they may have only the pistil. So they are considered as female flower. So male flowers are called as staminate flowers and female flowers are called as pistillate flowers. But mainly the flowers are bisexual. So based on the presence of these whorls, there are certain terms given for the flower. You must know, before proceeding further, you must know these terms. What are these terms? First one, perfect flower. What is a perfect flower? A flower which is bisexual is called as a perfect flower. It means when both the stamens and pistils are there in the same flower, then it is called as a perfect flower. Then comes imperfect flower. Unisexual flowers are called as imperfect flowers. So, staminate flowers and pistillate flowers are imperfect flowers. Okay. Now another term, complete flower. What is a complete flower? Complete flower is that flower which has all four parts in it. So what are these four whorls? These four whorls, calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So this is a complete flower. It has got calyx, this green color, this pink color is corolla. You can see these are the stamens and in the center there is pistil. So this is a complete flower. But if I ask you, can a staminate flower be a complete flower? The answer would be no, because the staminate flower will not have pistils. So there will not be the four whorls. It will have only three whorls. That's why it will be an incomplete flower. Okay. You'll be surprised to know all monocot flowers are considered as incomplete. Why? There's a reason. Like all these four parts which I told you, four whorls, they are of dicot flowers. In monocot, there is a common word called as perianth. There is a common word called as perianth. Perianth means in monocot flowers, calyx and corolla are now separate. Instead of calyx and corolla, there is a combined whorl of perianth, and they are called tepals. The individual parts are not called sepals, they are not called petals, they are called tepals. Tepals. Now I will show you one monocot flower. This is a monocot flower. This is a flower of rain lily. See how beautiful is this flower? So in this flower, this is the thalamus. This green colored part is the thalamus on which the flower is situated, and these parts which are half green and half colorful, if I take it out, this one, this is neither a sepal nor a petal. Then what is it? It's a tepal. So these are called perianth. So because it has only three whorls, so the monocot flower will be called as incomplete flower because it does not have four whorls. Okay. So these are few general terms regarding flower. Now let us see some other aspects of the flower. What are the different types of flowers based on their position on thalamus? Now look at this diagram given in your book. So these are different flowers based on the position of various floral parts on thalamus. It is basically the position of ovary and other floral parts. See on diagram A, the ovary is superior in position, which means ovary is at the top and all other floral parts, they are arising below it. So we will say ovary is superior in position and other floral parts are inferior in position. This is hypogynous flower. Then B and C both, they are called perigynous flower, which means both ovary as well as other floral part are present at the same level. It might be curved. You can see here in B it is curved, but if you flatten the curve of the thalamus, they all are at the same plane. So this is called the perigynous flower, half superior, half inferior. Whereas if you see the D part, this is called as epigynous flower. In this case, the ovary is inferior in position and other floral parts are superior in position. They are at above, their position is much above the ovary. So these are called as epigynous flowers. Now let us see the same concept with the help of very simple diagrams. Here I have drawn three diagrams. This is a hypogynous flower where the ovary is superior and other floral parts are inferior, which means the position of ovary is at the top and all other floral parts, that is stamen, petals and sepals, they will come from the lower portion as compared to ovary on the receptacle or thalamus. Okay, so the hypogynous flower, when we write the formula of a hypogynous flower, we use this symbol. We write G and then we underline it. So this is hypogynous flower. So wherever this is written, this means hypogynous flower. Example, you can see in mustard. Then Next example is of perigynous flower. Perigynous flowers are those flowers where all the floral parts, that is ovary and other floral parts, they are at the same position. So we say that ovary and other floral parts are half superior or half inferior. Any way you can say. Okay. A very common example is rose. Okay. And here we write G, and in front of G we just write a bar or underline. Right? Okay. Now the third type of flowers are called epigynous flowers. Epigynous flowers means the ovary is inferior in position, which means ovary is lowest in position on the thalamus, whereas other floral parts like stamen, this petals and sepals, they all are in the superior position. This is a characteristic feature of cucumber family, which is called as Cucurbitaceae family. Okay, so these are the three types of flowers with respect to the position of ovary on the thalamus. Now let's study about some other important terms related to flower study. Before going into the details of individual parts of the flower, let us now study some common terms related to flower study. So I have noted down few terms. First, in terms of symmetry. When you talk of symmetry, it means the line of axis through which when we cut a flower vertically, so how it is showing the symmetry. So in terms of symmetry, the flowers may be asymmetric, where those flowers you cannot cut from any plane into two equal halves. For example, in case of canna, the flowers are crumpled, so you cannot call them symmetric. So they are asymmetric. But most of the flowers are actinomorphic. Actinomorphic means they show radial symmetry. For example, in case of mustard, if you cut a flower from any vertical axis, it will be cut into two equal parts. So such flowers are called actinomorphic flowers showing radial symmetry. And we show it by this sign. We make a circle and write a plus inside it. So this is the sign for an actinomorphic flower. Okay. Then next, the flowers may be zygomorphic. In zygomorphic flowers, they show bilateral symmetry, which means they can be cut into two equal halves only from one plane. So such flowers are called bilateral symmetry flowers, and zygomorphic flower is the term for them. And it is shown by this sign. Okay. And mainly the leguminous plants, the Fabaceae family, they show the characteristic feature of zygomorphic symmetry. Now, if you talk about in terms of floral appendages, the flowers may be pentamerous, trimerous and tetramerous. Pentamerous flower means the flower is having the floral appendages in the multiples of 5. So generally 5 sepals, 10 petals, okay, like this. So generally dicots, they are showing the pentamerous type of floral appendages. It's a characteristic feature of dicots. Dicots means mustard, pea, hibiscus, all of them they show pentamerous arrangement of floral appendages. And monocots, they are showing trimerous floral appendages, means they are in the multiples of 3. So it may be 3 tepals or 6 tepals, 3 stamens or 6 stamens or 3 carpels, like this. They are in the multiples of 3. Okay, but there is one exception. All other dicots except mustard, they are pentamerous. But mustard, that is Brassicaceae family, Brassica family, they show tetramerous floral appendages where the calyx, that is sepals, are 4 in number, corolla, petals are 4 in number. Okay, so this is a characteristic feature of Brassicaceae family, that is tetramerous flowers. The flowers are in cross shape. That's why it is also called as crucifery family. Okay, so in terms of floral appendages, these are the terms. Now, if you talk about the flower type, what type of flower it is, whether it is a bisexual flower, majority of the flowers are bisexual. So, we show that bisexual flower with this sign. This is the sign for bisexual flower. So, here both male and female parts are there in the same flower. That is, stamens and carpels both are there in the same flower. For example, in case of mustard. But most of the cucumber family plants, the flowers are unisexual. So, the flower may be male flower, which is shown by this sign, or female flower, which is shown by this sign. Male flowers are called staminate flowers, whereas female flowers are called pistillate flowers. There are few other types of flowers also, which are called neutral flowers. Neutral flowers means they do not have any capability to produce the gametes. They are mainly to attract the pollinating agents. For example, this is a simple diagram of a sunflower. In sunflower, I told you it's not a flower, it's the inflorescence. So, all these which look like petals, these are not petals actually. These are called as ray florets. Ray florets are sterile florets. They are not having any male and female part in them. They just attract the insects for pollination. Likewise, in ficus also, in anjeer, there are few flowers which are called as gall flowers. They are basically to attract the small insects. So, they are helping in the process of pollination, but they do not produce any type of gamete. Okay, so these are few general terms related to floral studies. In next lecture, we will study the individual parts and then we will see how they are modified, how they are arranged, and then we will study the semi-technical description of two families which are given in your syllabus now. Okay, thank you.